besides Michigan State just being good, what makes that a tough place to play?
I would just say the just a home atmosphere. I feel like a lot of teams that's got that home crowd, even us, you feel off of that. So coach definitely emphasized like they pace in the home facility for sure. They pace is like 10 times faster than being an away team for sure. So, transition, rebounding, just getting back, like watching the game last night, like this one possession, like they scored within like 2 seconds off the shot clock. Like that's how you know how fast they can play for sure. So, just the atmosphere, it's a history of basketball for sure. So just going to that environment is always going to be a great feeling for sure. But we just know that transition and that defense for sure is going to be the big emphasis for us.
Coach was saying before this, there's no way to really simulate their physicality and pace in practice. So how do you mentally prepare yourself for that?
I mean, you just kind of have to. Well, we have experience before, so we got to tell the new guys what it's like. I think scout team's doing a really good job of simulating it, but obviously, I mean, the athleticism of the recruits Michigan State gets and like the culture they have, it's just something you really don't ever see in any other game. It's pretty unique. So we got to really instill that mindset that we got to get back and play physical to be able to beat these guys.
You guys have faced physical teams. St. Mary's also faced teams that want to get up and run. How much has the non-conference to date prepared you for what you're going to face in the Big Ten?
I've been telling the guys like for like a month and a half now about Michigan State for sure, about their pace, their physicality for sure. But like our coaches always say, be the hammer, not the nail for sure. Like last year, Jamar was a person that set a good example by his Sissoko off the first play got a foul, but that set the tone of the game for sure. So stuff like that, boxing out, crashing the glass hard, being physical and defense for sure is going to be an emphasis of this game for sure. Because in the day, like you said, St. Mary's was a physicality team for sure, but this is physicality and athleticism all together for sure. So we got to box out. We got to do our job for sure early. We got to make sure like we hit guys for sure. But like I said, we got to be the hammer, not the nail.
I'll add to that. I mean, playing St. Mary's as a physical team was a good test, but Creighton was a team that played fast. But we know that Michigan State probably plays 5 times faster than Creighton, and they're just as physical, if not more, than St. Mary's. So we're able to kind of use that as a reference for the new guys that haven't played them. So I think it's really helpful just to give them kind of an idea of what they play like.
Juwan, as a guy who embraces that physicality and rebounding, how much is your role magnified in a game like this? How much do you embrace an opponent like Michigan State?
That's just who I am. Like coaches, players always say like a lot of people feed off my energy, off my emotion and stuff like that. So, it's not just me going there who got to be physical. I feel like all 5 guys on the floor and the people that come off the bench got to be physical too. Like I said, home atmosphere. They're gonna go. And last year we beat them, so they're gonna come out with a chip on their shoulder for sure, trying to be more physical, out tough us for sure like that. So we got to be not physical toughness also, but also be mentally tough. Cause they like referees don't give us calls. We in a home crowd, so it's gonna be probably like a 5-on-8 game situation going on. But in the day, if we not mentally tough in the head stuff like that, the physical part is gonna go downhill for sure. So physical is who I am, but in the day, like that physical and mental part is definitely the key thing of this weekend.
Coach was saying Berke might be a game-time decision for that game with his rebounding presence. If he doesn't play, how much onus does it put on the rest of the front court to have to step up and bring that physicality down on the basket?
I definitely say BK definitely is a huge piece for this weekend because we all know like they got a huge size advantage with us. Like but in the day, if he don't play, I know our guys off the bench and the guys who gonna play for sure gonna be prepared for sure. Anything we got going on, but in the day, like we would love to have BK out there, but one guy is not running the show for sure. So in the day, we love to have our brother out there, but in the day, we gonna if he's not playing, we're gonna try to get a W for him too.
Sam, how would you rate the confidence of this team? So, like, coming out of the Bethune-Cookman game to now, with the way you guys have been playing the last few games, just how much have you seen that a part of your team grow just over the first 7 games?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously gotten a much higher. I mean, scoring 63 points on Bethune and shooting how we did those first few games wasn't a whole lot to be confident about, but I think we're a pretty confident group in general, and we knew we're a good shooting team, and we've been able to show that the past few games, and we're just going to keep trying to grow from that. But I'd say our confidence and just seeing it go through the hoop, I know for myself, I started off the year really poorly, but starting to go in now, and hopefully I keep adding to that, and the rest of the team, same way. I mean, Connor's just feeling it right now, but we know he can do that. We've been banking on that all year, so we're not expecting anyone to slow down, and we're expecting to keep getting better.
Same. No Tyson Walker, no AJ Hoiberg like last year. Different group of guys. What are some of the similar and different challenges?
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Fears is a really similar player to Hoiberg with how he pushes it down the floor. I mean, watching film, you really wouldn't be able to tell a difference if it was blurry. And then we've seen Akins before. He's a really good player. I mean, a lot of the guards are very dynamic and they're really good players, so we're going to be prepared for that. I mean, Michigan State always has really good guards, and we just got to stop them in transition and try to beat them in the half-court game.
Either of you, how much does having the experience going on the road a couple weeks ago kind of settle things that this isn't your first time playing away from home this year, isn't your first time going into a hostile environment?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State is one of the craziest environments we'll ever see, but playing that rivalry game at Creighton was a super helpful test because that's about as hostile as it gets when you're playing an in-state rivalry. I'd say the basketball culture at Michigan State is so good there. I mean, the fans are all on the same page. They'll count the shot clock down early in the first half and then late in the second half to try to throw us off, which we've been practicing. Just stuff like that is something you got to be prepared for that you really don't have to prepare for in other environments. But, yeah, I mean, having Creighton, I mean, it was a great environment. We were able to kind of control the pace. Just knowing what we need to do in a tough environment is very, very helpful.
Do you have any memories with Breslin Center of your brother playing there?
Yeah, I mean, I went there a few times, and I always had a blast at those games. I mean, I was a big fan of Michigan State at that time, so I have a ton of affinity for that program. I mean, love Tom Izzo, but now we're on the other side, so got to go beat them.
What is the difference between Big Ten play compared to other games? I mean, what makes this conference different than maybe other non-conference ones?
I would definitely say the team that's added to the conference for sure. You know, having 18 teams in the conference now make it way more interesting now. But I would definitely say just the basketball world, the transfer portal. The transfer portal have made Big Ten basketball around like way more interesting to watch. Cause you got guys coming from different all type of conference like SEC, ACC, stuff like that. So adding them guys to the Big Ten conference, and Big Ten conference is a physical, conference for sure. So I would definitely say the Big Ten conference and non-conference is no match for sure. Because when you get in Big Ten play, it's like it's a whole different atmosphere going on. Like you urge to play this team that's everybody talking about, like Michigan State. Everybody know who Michigan State is. They know who their coach is. They know how their offense is. So going to this game is like, man, we ready for this game because you hear the noise, but you also try to keep it blocked out too. So that's what the Big Ten do for me for sure.
How much does it help that maybe compared to previous years, you don't have to tell everybody about what it's like? You've got Connor, you've got Gavin, you've got even Braxton, who's not played for a Big
Yeah.
Ten team. Like, does the fact that they've been there, done that, like how much more prepared do you feel this group is maybe the teams that haven't experienced Big Ten?
Definitely having guys that came from Big Ten for sure. Like you said, Gavin, Connor, Aaron, Braxton now for sure. Coach always asking guys he always asks how fast is his team going to play, and we have guys who actually played against these guys that know their pace is nothing to be playing around with for sure. So having them type of guys that came from the Big Ten on our side now definitely is helpful because they could actually give us some pointers from how they play on their team last year, stuff like that, how they guarded certain stuff for sure. We could actually add that to it on the offense, on the defensive end for sure. But just having other guys that came from the Big Ten conference for sure definitely is a helpful thing.
Players? One more. With Gavin, he's one of the guys that's kind of still struggling to find his rhythm a little bit. What do you guys do as some of the leaders on the team to get a young guy that's kind of struggling a little bit to find that confidence and stick with it?
I would definitely say keep shooting. We've seen Gavin over the summer shoot, well beyond a great percentage for sure. Like he had a couple of that he hit like 7 threes, 6 threes for sure. But like I can empathize with Sam. Like Sam said, he started for a slow start, but he started to pick up, where he wanted to be at. Knocking down shots like that. So it's just time being. Like Gavin always in the gym. Gavin always shoot the shot he always can make, but his confidence always gonna be there for sure. But the ball just ain't going in. So it's nothing taken away from none of his work ethic, nothing like that. So I'm always, as a leader, I know Sam always going to just tell him keep shoot the ball because in the day it's gonna fall down eventually.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's been through mental slumps or shooting the ball just because of my mental, I feel like I know what I like to hear and being able to tell Gavin those kind of things. And even Connor this summer came in not shooting it great, but we knew what he could do. And that was kind of the stuff I told him, and then he just kept shooting until he was shooting it amazing. And now look at him. And Gavin, we expect to do the same thing. I mean, he's a really good player, and we're going to keep giving him that confidence until he finds it in himself.